here we go. We've got our Lucio. You're up around 1,800 now, up from 1,000, so that's good. And what are you looking at team-wise? You have a Mercy, which makes things a little tough. You do have a Zarya, which is someone that you work well with. Okay.
Be sure to stretch before engaging in rigorous
Yeah.
physical activity.
You're walking up rather than wall riding? Okay. Okay.
5, 4,
I don't think I know, like, I think you're the only Lucio I know who would be like, I'm going to walk up here rather than going, I'm going to roller skate on this, switch back, and get up like this. But that's okay. Didn't cost you any time. It's before the match started.
attackers incoming. Stop the payload. Taking off.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Okay, so it's good to get spam in, don't get me wrong. Like, we like getting spam in, but your spam is actually going to be more powerful if you can get it in from an angle. So you could be up here to get your spam in. You could be up here to get your spam in. I know your wall riding isn't going to be like extreme or anything at this point, but we would like, even if it makes us a little less accurate at some point, to be thinking about using these walls. But even if we're not ready to use the walls yet, we can go here and we can go, hey, I'm going to wait for a second to make sure a sniper isn't, holding the bead on me. And then I'm going to come out here and sort of spam them, poke them from up here. That's going to be a little more powerful. It's going to get past shields a little more. It's actually harder for them to advance into. But this is good. Okay. Using your tanks as body shield, sort of. Okay. So that's actually generally one of your priorities. Do you hear that Sombra right now?
Yeah, now that you know, you asked me about that one, and now I hear about that.
Okay.
Not during the game.
No problem. So as Lucio, you've got a couple priorities, and those priorities are basically, hey, I want to protect my other support buddy, sort of protect my backline, and Mercy doesn't really need support, so you kind of get to usually ignore that, but in this case, you're not going to. And I want to sort of enable my front line, disable their front line, disable their people that are on angles by booping them. I want to sort of do some enable stuff, some disable stuff, and like one of the big priorities for you is you would like to make Sombra leave pretty quickly because your forward damage isn't very much, right? Compared to some of your teammates.
Yeah.
Whereas you can duel a Sombra pretty well. It's sort of hard for her to hit you, right? You're a slippery target, slow target. She can try to hack you, but as long as you're confident in yourself, you can turn and fight her. You can fight her from inside your team. I would way rather you fight her than your Zarya fight her. Like your Zarya, I want your Zarya paying attention forward, where she can get good bubbles off, where she can get right clicks off. You, I would like to pay attention forward if there's nothing better to do, but I would like you to be like the first line of defense for, hey, there's a Sombra behind us. There's a Tracer behind us. There's a Genji behind us. I'd like you to basically be the first person to go, I want to fight that. And the reason for that is it's a good habit. Right now, your partner is Mercy, so it doesn't much matter. But pretend your partner was a Zen or an Ana or even a BAP. I would want them paying attention forward to help keep the team alive. They'll have to protect themselves if it comes to it, but I would prefer you to create a situation where they don't even have to worry about protecting themselves because you're putting the pressure on the flanker that has shown up with your weapon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah.
Cool.
Going free.
We can try and aim a little higher for his head. He's a pretty big target. Yeah, we don't want to shoot him in the waist. We want to shoot him in the head if we can. You'll get there. Okay. So what's this amp for?
Yeah, I just thought that since he was running in, someone was low, but really no one is low.
Yep. And you have to actually... Go ahead.
Everyone is almost full health, so
yeah.
Really...
So usually you're going to pop your amp when you see people are low health. Usually it's like, hey, I'm amping heals because we sort of made a mistake and I don't want us to get punished for it. Like our team made a mistake, our team took too much damage. I'm going to amp heals to help us recover for it. We're still now vulnerable because now they know we don't have amp, but hey, at least we're not missing this health. Whereas amping speed is more to make sure that you successfully get out, you successfully get in to take advantage of something or to avoid something. Right now, I just wouldn't use any amp at all. Regular speed is probably the right answer right now. And now you'd be fighting this Sombra. heal song right now is okay. Again, you see how you're sort of aiming at, like, her waist here? Like, I don't mind if you're not aiming directly at her head. Her head is hard to hit, but try to aim at, like, shoulder level, neck level for people. So, like, the chest is as big a hitbox as anywhere on the body, and if you're aiming at the upper part of the chest, some of those are going to be headshots. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I got stuck in the wall.
Yep.
Let's up the tempo.
Okay, you see the
Let's get
hog,
patched
so
up.
you have to decide what to do about the hog. Did we really want to boop him away?
Yeah, no.
Right.
No.
So if anything, we were interested in booping him to contain... Oh, that's a way longer rewind than we wanted. We'll fix that.
Let's up.
So here you go. And this is good, and we see this, and we want to shoot at him, and what we actually want to do is we're thinking, hey, there's danger. Can I get across? Can I get to, like, here and boop him back into my team to make sure he gets finished off? Because I don't want him to get out here, and I don't really want him to get out here either. So, like, if we could, we'd try to get over here and boop him across. That said, you don't have a great route to jump across right now. You don't really have enough speed to do that, so you just shoot him from here. But then we definitely don't want to do this. We could ride on the wall past him and then boop him back towards our team, but we definitely don't want to boop him away. We want to boop him into our team to enable our team to get the finish.
Get back.
Shoot at the lamp. Okay. Okay. So again, if you look at this, you've got Sigma and a Roadhog playing into a Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt's in range of them. So we're going to do this. Heal right now is fine, but now you want to be on speed, right?
Okay.
Why do you want to be on speed?
Yeah, because they probably gotta run away. That's what I'm probably thinking.
Yeah, but why do they want to run away? Why do the heroes that are on your screen want to run away from that Reinhardt?
Yeah, one I would say Sigma is disabled by Sombra. I think that's the
Well,
Sombra that
that's
she
part
needs.
of it, but
That
even if your Sigma wasn't hacked, who has better ranged ability, Sigma or Reinhardt?
ranged ability, definitely Sigma.
Right. But this Reinhardt is in swing range right now in your Sigma, right?
Yeah.
So your Sigma would kind of like to back off and just keep pelting the Reinhardt. Doesn't want to be in hammer range. So we'd like speed to help our Sigma get further away. And Zarya, same case. Zarya would like to be not super far away from Reinhardt, but outside of the Reinhardt's hammer range. So speed to maintain that distance is going to help both of these people more. What else could help these guys maintain distance?
Yeah, me pooping Ray.
Yeah, potentially.
Or
Now, you wouldn't need to boop Ryan quite yet, but you could speed your team away, and if Ryan got closer to like where Zarya's standing right now, you might boop Ryan away, right?
okay, makes sense.
So yeah, definitely want to be speeding here. That's potentially going to avoid more, potentially going to help the team more. And then this is a situation where you go, hey, again, if you're riding up on this side, you'd have had the option to boop Ryan out if things got bad. Or if Ryan got super weak, you could potentially boop him in so that your team could finish him off. This is the kind of place you want to play on while riding on the side here. Now, it's hard. I'm not going to mandate that you do this yet, but this is what you're looking to grow to as Lucio.
Moving up. Heroes never die. Being activated.
Activating the barrier.
Burning them down.
Okay.
Boosting up.
Kind of just holding that down. And I don't mind if you're spamming a specific choke, but you've got to be spamming a choke. It's got to be like I'm spamming this choke and I'm pulling my crosshair away slowly so that if someone rounds this choke, they can potentially walk into the whole burst of shots. You follow what I'm saying? So it's like they walk across and it's like that. So you want to like shoot at this choke and drag it a little to the left. Like you shoot at the choke and you drag a little to the left to try to match the speed at which someone would round this corner and get hit by all of the shots. And you'd be spamming this at headshot height because that's what you're trying to do. Like spamming chokes is okay. Spamming chokes is totally fine. But if you look at this, I'm not sure what you're shooting over there.
Yeah.
Now you're shooting for the Ash, which is totally fine, but you didn't really drag the shots to the right. Because if you think about the Ash, remember, this is a projectile. It fires a multiple burst volley from your weapon, and she's either going to stand still for you, in which case you'd want all of your shots to go straight at her, or she's going to move to the right. There's not really a situation where she moves to the left, so you either wanted to hold your crosshair steady on her, or you wanted to drag your crosshair to the right as you were firing, so that as she retreats to the right, she gets hit by some of your follow-up shots, okay?
Okay. Okay.
And again, that's way to the left of her, and that's a pillar that you're hitting.
Promising.
So now you could be shooting. You'd shoot with your crosshair just a tiny bit to the left, and then you drag it further to the left, or you just hold it straight on that and keep spamming that spot, which is just a tiny bit to the left of where it is right now. And it's okay to pre-fire. It is okay to pre-fire at this choke because, you know, they'll have to round this choke at some point. I don't care about your accuracy stat. Again, even so, okay. Is this the head height that you expect someone to show up at?
Yeah, definitely no.
Right.
That's
Yeah, no problem. Not a big deal, but we can bring our crosshair up and we can decide either someone's going to show up right here or someone's going to show up right here. So we should be holding our crosshair at one of those heights to start, and we can be pre-firing at that spot. We can be pre-firing at that spot, and we can just pre-fire at that spot, or we can pre-fire and drag at that spot. Either way. Yeah, and again, so when the Reinhardt shows up, you're at his waist level again. That was definitely dodgeable. Okay. So again, you probably want what for your Zarya here?
Yeah, probably gonna be on speed.
Yep.
Rather than on...
No problem. And you're shooting down at the legs now. Oh boy. Oh boy. So you're way totally in the open. You see this? How you're totally in the open here? We don't really like that. We really want to be tighter on corners. So here we are. Great. You think something's coming that way. You see that that's there. I wouldn't even go back here. I'd at the very least, get this in the way. At least this is going to offer me some semblance of protection. And I can sort of peek around it and throw at him. And if he tries to hook me, I can try to break the hook on this. It's not going to work, but I can dream. Okay, so this amp, who's this helping?
Yeah, no, I mean, just me, but generally no one.
Right, right. So it's just helping you, but you're already full health already. So, like, if you're using this amp, you could potentially use this amp if your team gets pushed into you by the hog ult. You could be like, hey, they're taking damage from the hog ult, and now I want to help them with this amp. But that hasn't happened yet, so we don't do this.
Speed boost.
Flight routine activated.
Okay, this is good. You see, you were weaving it down there, and you're sending these shots at head height. That's what we want. Okay, bring the crosshair back up.
Oh, let's break it. Damn.
Okay, probably don't need this. Why do you not need this?
Because they're already down 2. Baptiste is low on health, and we are 6, almost at full
Right.
health.
And you don't necessarily know that Baptista's low is health, but you do know that they're down 2. Or you could know that they're down 2 because you can check this feed on the right here and see that, they just lost 2 people. Now, the one counter argument to that is, no, there is no counter argument. That's your Echo who's duplicating. So you're actually throwing a second ult into this. So yeah, we don't really want this ult right now. But not a big deal. When do we generally want to be using our ults as Lucio?
Yeah, when we discussed last time, I mean, like either we are pushing and we need to get in on something, or they have a specific ultimate they're using, and we need some more health to survive to that.
Doesn't have to be a specific ultimate though. Like if it's a 6v6 and someone on your team gets really low while you're fighting, and maybe this falls under your first category of when you're pushing in, if someone gets low, you could go, hey, I'm going to save their life with beat. Because even if they lost to just regular damage or they're losing to just regular damage, if your team is actually fighting, saving them with beat could still win you the fight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you got that height a little better, and then you brought it right back down. Good, good, good. But now
60 seconds.
we could go with our crosshair just a little bit further to the right on this so that, we're ready to drag it across. Because no one's going to show up right there on your screen, right? Okay.
Focus with me.
Mm-hmm. Kind of in the open right now. You're trying. Oh boy! Okay, so you just have to remember that he drops those when he gets eliminated, because you had plenty of
Yeah,
time to get out this way if you wanted to.
That's when I discovered that.
Okay, not a big deal. Yeah, that's his passive. Whenever he gets eliminated, he drops a bunch of grenades.
30 seconds
Yeah, let's
remaining.
pick it up.
Ah, bedankt.
Okay, fine. Good.
10 seconds remaining.
So if you think about this,
Yeah.
this is good. Is Anna someone you really want to knock away from the fight?
Yeah, no.
Right. If you were finishing her off with the boop, that would be fine. But in general, you'd like to knock Anna closer into the fight where she's more likely to get eliminated. You'd like to knock their tanks potentially back out of the fight so that, their supports are in front of them for your team to take down. So you just want to think a little bit more about this boop manipulation and who gets what treatment.
10 seconds remaining.
Let's up the tempo.
Payload has
Check
reached
this out.
the checkpoint.
Let's group up here. I'm with you.
Okay, you're way in the open. You see how you're just way in the open here with, no cover? You don't have a wall you can ride on. You don't have anything you can get behind. You're doing too much of this. I want you to feel uncomfortable here. I want you to feel like I need cover. I need cover. Or at the very least, I need a wall I can ride on. Because if I have a wall I can ride on, I can at least move sort of irrationally for the opponents. It's harder for them to tell what I'm going to do if I have a wall. If I'm here, the directions I can move are very limited. Like I can only move on I can move, left, right, forward, back. I can move in diagonal, sure, but I'm really only moving on 2 planes there, and that's not that hard to aim at. So I really would like to have cover available to me. And the next best thing is I'm right next to a wall that I can use that at least lets me move in a 3rd dimension.
Duplicating UAV path.
Still don't want to be here.
Get behind me.
Now to accelerate.
Barrier won't hold forever.
Again, you're sort of aiming at their feet. We don't really want that. And it doesn't have to be right at their head because that's hard to hit, but like neck, upper chest level, shoulders, that height. Okay. I'd probably get out with speed. Fine.
Pump up the volume.
Okay, this is okay with amp, no problem.
Finishing them off.
You'd have liked to boop that. You'd have liked to boop that. Okay, so they have a lamp and they have a window going. What aura should you be on?
Or excuse me, they got a lamp. You mean the
The
Baptiste
immortality.
one?
Yeah, the immortality
Okay.
field. But really the
Okay.
bigger concern is this window.
Okay.
So that means they're about to do a lot of damage to your team. They do double damage to your team. You healing your team, it's just there's no way it's going to be enough, right? So like you just need to get them out of here as quick as you possibly can. So we want to be on speed and we want to get everyone behind cover as quick as we can. It's a little better. You're playing on the wall. I like it.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Here, you're not on the wall. You don't have cover. They control whether this angle is open or not because they're the ones close to this actual bit of cover. You might think, oh, I can drift right and then I'm behind cover, but they actually control this because they're physically closer to it, which means they can choose how open or closed it is.
Fire at will.
Okay.
Healing boost.
So as soon as this hack is over, we actually want to convert to speed. And why do we want to convert to speed?
Yeah, because there's ultimate there, and there's no one down with health.
Right.
Both.
So
For both reasons.
So when they make a play, when your team makes a play, you generally want to be supporting it with speed if you can. Exactly. And Gorav is definitely a play. We didn't want to boop him away. Good thing he blocked that.
Bad guys. Heads up.
60 seconds remaining.
I am ready to activate the sound barrier.
Acknowledge.
Group up.
I could use some assistance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let's break it. Damn.
Okay.
Let's up the tempo.
Unfortunate.
Take cover.
Pump up the volume.
Okay, get on a wall and then probably swap to speed.
Healing speed.
Heroes never die.
Sure. Feeling where it's fine right now. Almost. You're purple, so you need to swap to speed. You have to swap to speed. Yeah. So you understand when you're purple, you can't get heals when you're purple, so you need to go to speed just to protect yourself until the purple wears off.
I'm too young to die.
Okay. We're fine. You don't have a back weight yet. You don't have a back weight yet. Okay. And again, we'd go to speed here because we're purple, and as much as we want to get healed, we can't heal ourselves.
That's something I never considered.
Yep. No problem.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Go time.
Barrier in place.
Let's
still shooting low.
What's that?
Yeah, we're still shooting low. Now it looks a little bit better
It
because
does.
the arrows.
It does look a little bit better. But yes, you in general are keeping your crosshair a little low. Like this is below people's waist where your crosshair is right now.
60 seconds remaining.
And again, so here we are. What are you shooting at? Like, I don't mind that you're shooting at empty space, but I want you to shoot at empty space where people are going to show up. Right now, you're sort of shooting it here, and I want you to be shooting over here, because even if there's no one here, people are more likely to walk into this. They're not going to walk into this. You follow what I'm saying? The opposing team is mostly coming from this direction, so you would like to have your crosshair sort of where they're coming from, which is just like one crosshair to the left is where you'd want this, and a little bit higher, but one crosshair to the left, because you're going to shoot where they're going to show up.
Focus my target.
Check this out.
Okay, we don't need to be in front. I'm glad we're on a wall. Okay. Probably getting close to when we're going to... Oh, no. Totally valid.
You feel that?
Okay. Okay, that's yours. You see that? So again, you'd peel this. You don't have to eliminate him, but you'd peel this again just because you don't want him here. You don't want him messing with your team in the back line. You can break the trap.
Oh, time to accelerate.
Ten seconds
Just hang in there.
You can feed? Yeah.
Oh, let's break.
Oh! You still save people with that. Wow.
Heroes never die.
Healing boost.
Didn't really want to boot people back there. And truth be told, I haven't been too harsh about this, but here you go. The sig barrier is here, so you're sort of getting a little bit of an excuse to do this. This isn't really where you'd want to be. Like, you're sort of just in front of your team as Lucio, pushing, etc. If you're going to do this, you have to get yourself up over on this wall. You have to get yourself up over on this wall if you're going to be this aggressive. Like, if you just walk forward without good cover in front of your tanks, you are going to get blown up. Yeah, we don't want you here. We didn't really want to boop the BAP back either. We wanted to be here where we could continue to shoot down on the hog even as we went past him. We could change directions. We could do this. We could get past the hog and continue to boop the hog in so that our team can easily finish him off since he has no health.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing I would point out is, what does your team have going right now ult-wise?
Pardon?
Your team has a Valkyrie going right now, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they have a lot of offensive power from the Valkyrie because that Valkyrie can chain beam the stuff. They'd really like to be on speed right now, right? Like, this is an opening that your team has.
That's one of the things you told me first time. Whenever there's ultimate, I should always be on speed. 90% of the times. That's something you told me.
Most of the time, yes. So we would definitely want to be on speed right now. And you probably just didn't notice your team had a Valk going, but it helps quite a bit. And now we have a Nano going, so that's another... Well, now we have a Nano and a duplicate going. So again, we'd like to be pushing pretty aggressively, or we'd like to be enabling our team to push pretty aggressively, even if we need to play a defensive position here because we're low health. We'd like to be enabling our team to be aggressive.
Last time. Justice reigns from above.
Okay, So this is good stuff. The three biggest things that are jumping out are you were just in the open way too much as Lucio, and while Lucio isn't a super high priority target for people to shoot at, you still need to give yourself a little bit more, especially when you're going in front of your tanks. You really want to either have cover or be on a wall. You don't want to just be standing in the open in the middle of the lane. That shouldn't really feel comfortable. The second thing is we just need to consistently bring your crosshair up a little bit more, and it's fine to shoot at the chokes, to shoot when nothing's there, but shoot where people are likely to appear. So that includes at that head height there. And then the third thing that I'm seeing that I want to touch on is we've still got more work to do on our aura swaps in terms of, hey, we want to heal sort of when the fight is just going on, when things are just normally the case, and we want to be on speed when our team is using an ult, or to retreat from the opposing team's ult, or when we see there's a Reinhardt, we might want to be like, hey, they have a Reinhardt, we have a poke, I want speed. So I want you to look a little bit more for which aura makes sense. I want you to drag your crosshair up a little bit, but first and foremost, I want you to sort of get out of the middle, and I want you to get to where you have cover, or at least to where you have walls that you could ride on. Even if you're not actually riding on those walls, you've got the option to pop up on them. We'll see if the priorities change, but right now those look like pretty hard priorities for you.
One. Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
Bad guys. Heads up.
You're good to go back to speed.
Ability increasing.
Enemy turret destroyed. Hey, my barrier is destroyed.
It's gone. Yep.
Oh.
Unfortunate.
Adjusting angle of attack.
Okay.
Ha.
So usually you'd use speed to get across here, and you'd end up going to somewhere like here. And then from here, you might be on speed, you might be on heals, but to get across this opening, you'd use speed. You'd pop up on here, and you'd go, I'm going to boop, maybe I'm going to boop someone in. Maybe I'm going to boop someone out, etc. I'm going to shoot them in the back. That's what you'd be looking to do.
You feel that?
Okay. Okay, help your Zarya out. Your Zarya's full health. You should be on speed. Cool. And now you want to be on speed because you're full health and you want to either get out faster or stay on them. And either way, speed is going to help you more when you're at full health.
Up the volume.
Yep, you and your Zarya would like to follow up on these guys, and speed would help a lot more with that.
This is not
Yeah.
Activating the barrier.
focus with me.
Still speed. There's still staggers to go get.
Boosting up.
Let's get you healed up. Enemy turret. Accelerate. Heal up.
Lifting up.
Okay, so you understand the reason you got caught by this hook is because you let yourself just sort of end up right here, where you don't have cover, you don't have a wall you can hop onto. This is a bad place to end. If you'd ended here, you'd be fine. You could be like, I can go behind cover, I can just pop up on the wall. If you'd been on this wall, maybe you'd have been fine. You'd have been a harder hit hook target. You move faster. If you were here, you'd have the payload to play around, but you just landed yourself in front of your whole team on the ground in the center of the string. And this is what we got to watch out for. There's too much of this going on.
Up the tempo.
Good. And you're on speed. Good.
Healing food.
Personality duplication complete. Taking off.
Serve the barrier.
I am ready to activate the sound barrier.
You have to learn from your mistakes. Enemy turret eliminated.
That was definitely dodgeable, but okay. I don't know what you're shooting at. I still don't know what you're shooting at. I still don't know what you're shooting at. I don't mind pre-firing into open space. Like, if you pre-fired at this spot, let's pretend this Reinhardt isn't here. You pre-fired past this dumpster because you thought opponents were going to walk past, or you know at some point opponents have to walk past. That's fine. But I'm not such a fan of this. There's no opponents here, and I don't expect there to be opponents here. There's no opponents here, and I don't expect there to be opponents here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay.
No, it's just I'm just used to keep the left mouse button pressed, and it's something I should definitely
I
stop
would
doing.
avoid that. Yeah, I would try to bring that back in because you're going to think more about aiming your shots if you're not holding the button down. Like, if you have to think about each click giving you a burst, you are going to think a little more about your shots, and that's going to make your aim better over time. Okay, probably speed is going to get you out better. Yeah.
It would have been better.
All good.
Let's up. Back in the mix.
Get this moving.
Oh, my ultimate is ready. Let's do this.
Finishing them.
Speed
Okay, and you go into speed here. Great, and you could even hit amp.
Double kill.
Okay.
right on target. This is gonna make you feel better.
You push up, you try to amp to protect her, you're ready to boop to keep people away. I love it. And you're a little closer to the corner this time. That's a little better than what you've been doing when you pushed up. That was good.
Push off.
Damage boost ended.
Again, this is just you holding down the button, and you don't expect targets here, and it's going to cause you to have to do a reload when you could be shooting type thing. Like, now you're stuck reloading when there's actually a target to shoot at.
Yeah.
And again, if you're just pre-firing... Oh, let me even rewind a bit. If you are pre-firing right now, the way Sigma's pre-firing at that corner, no objection whatsoever. Like, no objection whatsoever if you're pre-firing at that corner. But that's not really what you're doing. You're sort of like, let me just hold down the button, shoot over here, and now I'll shoot at the Reinhardt.
Here, let's pick it up.
Okay. Don't really need that amp.
Enemy turret eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for that turret. This man here.
Okay, so they're using an ult, so what do we want to do?
You had to be on speed.
Yep. Oh, and you get there. Good.
Up the tempo. I see.
Do we feel comfortable here?
No, we are just in the middle once again. There's no cover.
Good, good.
Up the tempo. Move to the beat. Oh, turn it up. Time to heal up.
Same story. Okay.
I'm feeling unstuck.
Oh boy.
Soldier 76.
Heroes never die.
You don't hear the hog on your left?
And now I'm here.
Up the
Yep,
volume.
all good.
Bad guy.
Speed for the purple.
Step rider.
Speed for his ult.
Enemy turret ahead.
Okay, so we see some things here. Based on this game, the things that I would really want you to work on would be, first and foremost, I want you to get out of the middle of the lane. I want you to have your cover, or at the very least have a wall that you can hop on. Like, that is going to be the single biggest thing for you to work on, and I want you to do that. The second thing I'm going to want you to do is I'm going to want you to go, hey, I'm going to not just hold down the button, because I'm going to think about my shots a little more if I'm not holding down the button, and I'm also going to have less reloads at times that I don't want them if I'm not holding down the button. So I want you to try to click it each time. I don't want you to think of it as, oh, I'll have more uptime, I'll do more damage if I'll hold the button, because you won't actually. You'll miss more shots and you'll have to hit more reloads. So I want you to be thinking, hey, I click the button every time. Again, it's totally fine to be going, it's totally fine to be going as Lucio. I am going to pre-fire at a corner like this one. Like, I'm pre-firing at a corner, obviously not in this situation because the enemies aren't at that corner. But like, if you're going, hey, I think they're eventually going to come around that, totally fine to pre-fire that, drag your crosshair a bit, etc. But I want you generally going, hey, I press the button and I register that gets me a volley. I press the button and I register that gets me a volley. And I'm either shooting at opponents or I'm shooting where I expect opponents to show up. I'm not just holding it down. And then the third thing I want you to do is I want you to just bring your crosshair up a little. You're shooting at people's shins, you're shooting below people's waists, sometimes you're shooting them in the chest. I want most of your shots to be at chest or head height level. So like, really shooting them in the neck is what you're going for most times. And different heroes have different heights, so you have to judge a little bit, you have to make estimations a little bit. But I want your crosshair, like where your crosshair is now, is a better place for it than where it is for basically the entire first round. So those are the three things I want you to work on, and I kind of want you to work through them in that order. So like, first work on, hey, I'm not going to be in the middle with no cover. Then work on, okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm not holding down this button, I'm actually pressing it each time I want to fire. And I will get a really good understanding of what the cadence of how rapidly Lucio can fire is, so I'm still not really going to cause me a delay. And then we're going to bring our crosshair up. Those are the three things I'd work on. There's obviously other things that you can improve upon, and that's fine, but these are really the three that I would give you to work on, because they're going to be more important than, speed for purples. They're going to be more important than speed for your ults. They're going to be more important than understanding exactly when to use your beat, etc. Like, there's other places we could go, but these are going to give you the most long-term improvement if you can sort of get these fixed now. And obviously, there's more wall riding work you need. That's up there, but we're not there quite yet. So do you have questions about any of these?
Well, I think they're quite pretty clear,
Good.
like,
Good.
I mean, we saw many examples of those during this just 17 minutes of match, so
Yeah.
it's quite clear, so it's
No
full of
problem.
examples, so
No problem. No problem. Um, okay, so if you don't have questions about that, I'm happy to spend a few minutes on your other game, because you said you had another game that you would like us to look at if we have time, and we have a few minutes here that I can look at. So do you have the code
yeah,
pulled up for that?
yeah, give me 1 second. I'll just gonna put the game on because
Sure.
I just closed it too fast there.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna bring out this, Anubis, which was quite I would say a bad loss. We didn't know what to do, or to take like a Volskaya, which was a very good win. And
Okay.
everyone was like saying, "Oh, this Lucy is
So
carrying us," but I don't know if it was
I
really or it
I
was
can go
just
either
lucky
way, but
plays.
we won't get through the whole match of either. So if you give me the
No, definitely,
Anubis, I
definitely.
could jump to second point and show you what's stalling
Mm.
you out, perhaps, or I can just look at a couple attacks or a couple defense, a couple team fights
Yeah,
on Volskaya. Either way.
let's say let's say just the two. Yeah, that's just this second point offensive. Okay, so it's double R, so it's RR2 PV0.
Now entering the
Yeah.
temple of Anubis. Ready
Yeah, I
for
think
battle.
just
Okay.
at first, yeah, we were in
Second point
defense,
attack.
so yeah.
Okay. So this is some second point attack right here, it looks like. So is
Yeah,
this as good a time as any to look at?
yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I think you can definitely start from here.
Okay.
Here, the thing is, we got an issue with Farah,
Mm-hmm.
and none of the DPS was taking Farah down, and so in general they got two tanks. They got Reinhardt and Oriza with
Mm-hmm.
shields in the middle. Like I think it was Genji or Anzo, I don't remember, and Farah like flanking or attacking, and we couldn't really get in or do anything. We just lost 5 minutes trying to get in.
Okay.
Didn't work.
Oh, yeah!
What are you doing? You're full health. Why are you on heal, Laura? You're not helping your team right now.
Yeah, we were already at the point where, like since nothing was working, we were
Mm-hmm.
just going, one wave, two waves and getting
Yeah.
killed, three
Yeah.
waves
So
and
that
getting
doesn't work.
killed.
So what happens then? The way that you actually win this, based on your describing, not based on what I've seen yet, but based on what you're describing, the way that you win this is a couple fold. You as Lucio go, I'm going to boop opponents in. Like I can't boop Farah, but like if their Hanzo is holding over here okay, their Farah's over here. Let's say their Farah's going over here, the Hanzo's over here. You might come along the outside and boop their Farah and boop their Hanzo in, excuse me. You
Okay.
go, no, you can't have this off angle Hanzo. I'm going to send you in. I don't want the opposing team to have a lot of angles on us. I want to get rid of those to make it easier for our team to push in. That's one thing that you can do. You could also do a little bit if you are really good at attention baiting, where you try and like snipe them as Lucio, play Lucio sniper, dance around the poles to pull a lot of eyeballs to you over here as you're jumping around on this terrain because you have a lot of terrain to use in the sky here as Lucio to pull attention to you, and they go, what? There's this slippery Lucio that sort of lets your team walk in much more easily. This is not the standard play for Lucio, but this is a thing you could do if you felt like, hey, my team just can't make anything work. Okay, well, I'll get my team ready. We have 6 people, and now I'm going to wall right in here, and I'm going to jump around this terrain while still shooting at my opponents, while still being a credible threat to pull them in. Your wall riding is not at this level yet. I'm just conceptually telling you one thing that you could do. The other thing that you're going to do, and what you're most likely going to do, is you're going to go, I need to find a fight that we're already doing pretty okay in, and I just need to hold my beat until I find a fight that we're doing pretty okay in, and I need to find a fight that starts to go slightly in our favor and beat that fight, because otherwise we're going to lose. Like a 6v6 is a disadvantage if we're pushing into this team, especially if we're pushing into this team and we've been repeatedly losing. So you need to recognize that your team has some sort of advantage and then invest in that fight with your beat. So you need to go, okay, I'm holding my beat until I see that the opponent used 4 ults in the last fight, so they don't have a lot of good tools. Or I'm holding my beat until I see that my Hanzo just did a lot of damage to their Orisa, so their Orisa is low health. Or their Hanzo just dropped to go get the Mega. Like, you wait until your team has given you some sort of opening, and instead of investing in an even fight, you sort of invest in a fight that you're already ahead in to try to really put that fight away. Or maybe you went up 1 to start the fight. You guys got a pick off, and now you're pushing into a 6v5, and that is the fight that you're going to invest in. Because when your team is just really struggling, your job is to make sure you finish the map. And you sort of go, I have a lot of time. I just need to make sure we finish this. So that's conceptually sort of how that works. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, because otherwise it's just, going against, a wall and getting, back, and then going against the wall and getting back, nothing really happens,
Exactly.
and,
Exactly. So you mostly just find a fight that you're already winning a little bit, and you don't give your team a chance to then lose it.
Oh, this is my jam.
yeah, maybe just here I'm just doing solo, which is never gonna work.
No, you're never going to make this work. Unless what you were doing is you were trying to do solo to distract them so that your team could get in. But your team is nowhere near ready to get in, right? Like, your team is back in spawn. You'd have to distract them solo forever, and that's just not going to happen.
and then
Up
they
the
get
tempo.
in, and I get back, and I die again, and they die again.
Yep,
Get you
That's
healed
you
the
guys
up.
are going to stagger. It's pretty common once things start to go wrong at low ranks for teams to then stagger. So it's like almost ready, but your diva's a little early. She got someone. So this would be an example of a fight where if you have beat, if you can get your team in a little bit closer, this is a fight we'd be interested in beat again. Because even though they rezzed it back, hey, they're down their res. We're in a little better shape. We've mostly gotten in. So you go do this.
I see.
This happens. You're going to amp heals, but it just doesn't matter. There's no way to heal through that. That's way too much damage. No. If anything, we're interested in knocking people off bridges with our poop. So the team is sort of in this one. You've lost Hanzo,
Oh, let's break it.
and you just immediately go for it. Yeah. I don't know why you damn heals there when you had beat health, but okay.
Push off.
And now this is over, and you just need to reset.
That's more like it.
You just need to speed out and leave.
Yeah, so in this scenario, I should just leave, let it
Yep.
go and leave.
Absolutely. You want to maximize the number of 6-person attacks that your team gets. You don't want to extend it. After they've gotten a couple eliminations on you, you're not going to cap the point anymore, so you just want to cut bait and try again.
And in such a situation, you know, where there's really no one taking down Farah, should I switch to, I don't know, to Baptiste, or I should just say it's not my role and just gonna focus on my things?
Okay, so the answer is you can do either. You can swap to BAP and go, I'm going to put a little more pressure on the Pharah, or I'm going to swap to Ana and put a little more pressure on the Pharah since no one else is. That's fine, but I'm not, based on what I'm seeing, I'm not sure that's the issue yet. I suspect what's actually the issue is they can't get pressure on Pharah until they get through the choke. Like, this isn't a matter of, here, let me show you where the Pharah is playing from. The fair right now is out in the open where you can pressure his bat, but I suspect a lot of what's happening is your team is walking in and they're instantly getting bombarded by Farah, and they can't really pre-clear this Farah because there's walls in the way that stop them from pre-clearing the Farah. McCree can't do anything until he's already walked in here, and the Farah is already a problem for his team, and he can't go in first. He needs his Reinhardt or whatever to go in first, so that Farah is going to get some work done. It's just a feature of the map that a defensive Farah can be pretty good here. Like, that's a feature of the map. I don't know how much trouble the Pharah is really being for your team at this point, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, the thing is, at least, you know, when I'm playing with my friends, there are just 3 or 4 of them, you know, like, the thing is, whenever there's a Pharah with, you know, with Mercy, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like, it looks like if we don't kill, you know, both of them, yeah, it's almost GG every time because there's no one which is the skills to take her down. So, you know, it's like bombing and bombing. I would say in almost every map.
Yeah, so what that runs into is there's two ways to deal with Farah. You can either eliminate the Farah herself or the pharmacy itself, or you can win the battle on the ground so quickly and decisively that it doesn't matter. Because if you take out the ground team and you lose one person doing it, and then you're left in a 5v2, even if none of your heroes are any good at fighting Farah, you're going to win. So, yeah, you can swap to fight Farah if you want. You can. It's not that big a deal. Like, it matters, but I wouldn't get overly obsessed on the we don't have a Pharah counter thing. That is a trap. Like, yes, you can make the swap if you want to BAP to fight Pharah a little bit better, but you don't have to. I'm trying to phrase this gently. Like, don't tunnel that too hard in your mind. Don't make it too much of a, like, well, if we don't deal with Pharah, blah blah blah. Like, there's other solutions. Like, I would rather you learn how to play your hero into this than going, well, I better swap heroes for every solution. And Lucio's solution to a Pharah is generally I'm going to make my team win the battle fast. I have speed, I have things like that where we can just wipe out their ground team before. Now, are you going to do that in this situation? Probably not. You guys are running an Orisa. You're playing a more of a poke battle, but you guys have lots of far answers. You guys have a Diva, an Anna, a Hanzo. Like, you're not weak against the Pharah at all. Your comp
Okay.
isn't really weak against the Pharah. The Diva does a very good job of checking pharmacy on a short-term basis. The Hanzo can hit the Pharah, even if he's not like a hit scan counter. The Anna can hit the pharmacy. The Orisa isn't going to be eliminating pharmacy very often, but can certainly enable that with halts and can chip the pharmacy a bit for some pressure. Like, your team isn't particularly vulnerable to the Pharah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's probably. I think maybe the issue is just that then we're doing three against Farah and three against the other one, so we're never really pushing neither on one or the other one. So that's why we're not winning any battle. We're not killing Farah. We're not winning the battle on the ground because we're not
Right.
really focused on either of the two. We're
Right.
just doing a
You'd
little bit
sort
of
of
both.
go, we're either going to pre-clear the Pharah to make her leave and then run down the team, or we're just going to run down the team
Yeah.
with our Lucio speed while our Diva blocks out the pharmacy. Those are
Yeah.
generally the two
Okay.
ways to do it.
Okay. Okay. No,
Okay.
no. Got
Um,
it.
I think that's going to do it. Do you have any other questions
Mhm.
you want to answer here? If not, I think we're probably going to call it here.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. There's already a lot of things to work on for me. I think it was it was nice because that I thought that was quite a good game for my standards, the one we
Hmm.
saw before. But there's still plenty of things to work
Oh, of
on.
course.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, good stuff.
No,
And you did a very nice climb, so that's great. Like, you've done a very nice climb, and now we've just got more stuff to put in front of you to continue. And maybe we'll get you back for another
yeah,
session sooner than last time, since I know it was sounds like it was a little bit of a thing for schedules, but we can probably make that happen, and it'll be great. Okay.
definitely. I think already next week we can do something. I'm just gonna DM you for that. Okay, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was really, really helpful, mate. And just look forward for to the next one. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Talk to you soon, man.